quarters.
But you know why they work so good? They work so good because everybody has a role and they know the role. Typically, teams fall apart because people feel like they should have this role or they should be doing that. Instead of falling in line and getting in where you fit in, the Thunder, they work like a well-oiled machine. Yo, what it do, YouTube, man? I'm not gonna waste time, so I'm gonna get straight into it. You feel me? Now, today about to be reacting to the Thunder are embarrassing in the NBA. Hey, man, from what I've been seeing, stat-wise, the Thunder treating this like this is NBA 2K my career, and they playing on rookie. No bullshit. But no, let's get straight to it.
Last night in a matchup against the Jazz, the 15-1 OKC Thunder found themselves in a tough spot, facing a deficit halfway through the third quarter. One of just a few times they've trailed in the third all season, getting out-rebounded, out-hustled, back against the wall, and looking to take just their second loss of the season. With 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in the quarter, Keyonte George hit these two free throws, giving the Jazz a 7-point lead. Now, remember that, down 7, with 7 minutes left in the third. It wasn't until a minute and a half later when Lou Dort hit this jumper to give the Thunder their first lead of the quarter and opened up the floodgates on the Jazz.
5 minutes, just over 5 to play in the third. SGA step back 3.
I bumped, but this was a let him go.
Williams across court to Caruso. Drives and kicks. Williams for 3.
Adjustments I was talking about at half.
And this is just going to be a quick run for Caruso. Go to the
Bro,
right hand.
I ain't gonna lie. If I'm a Jazz fan, I'm crashing out. Ain't no way y'all just gave up that lead like that. Not even saying y'all gave up a lead. But ain't no. It feel like y'all just gave up at the end of the game.
Someone's going to take a jump. Wow.
By the end of the third, just 7 minutes later, the Thunder went from 7 points down to a 22-point lead. A 29-point swing to finish out the quarter. The Jazz were outplaying the Thunder for nearly 3 quarters and then got blown out in the blink of an eye. The Oklahoma City Thunder aren't just a good team. They are one of the best teams in modern NBA history.
I'm a Jazz fan, or I put money on Jazz. Crashing out. Ain't no way around it.
Monday's game against the Pelicans, the OKC Thunder completely blitzed a struggling New Orleans team, getting out to a 25-point lead in the first quarter. 49 points in total, a new franchise record. The rest of the game wasn't much different. The Thunder making quick work of the Pelicans in the same fashion they have just about every other team
how did the
they've faced
Thunder
this
get
season.
this good though?
Dort again. Give me a break. Typical. Setting the pick for the mid-range, man. It'll be Dort instead. That's wide open. You're not covering him.
It was wide
Dort
open.
again. Shares it.
They play the right way.
Yeah, that's the shoot.
They play the right
Oh
way.
my
Isaiah
goodness.
Joe. Gilgeous-Alexander with Dort. Extra
Down
pass.
20 in the first though. Come on, bro.
Yeah, they moved the basketball. There's no question.
23 in the
Typical. Timeout belt. Mitchell trying to get there. Derek Queen helped out. You help, they burn you. Isaiah Joe, clean look. What else is new?
I'd be so pissed. Whoever in the front office for the Thunder, they need a raise. They need more than a raise. Ain't no
They're
way.
going to get a last look. It'll be Mitchell, and he's going to get it like everything else.
By the end of the third quarter, the game was essentially wrapped up. The Thunder winning by 17 without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing a single minute in the fourth. Shai
Disrespectful.
also didn't play in the fourth quarter in the game before this. The Thunder up by so much, they just didn't need him. He also didn't play in the fourth in their previous game against the Lakers
Disrespectful.
or the game before that against the Warriors.
So he just done play in the fourth. So his fourth quarter is the third quarter. See, I hate to put money on Shai because it's simple fact. You know he can get the stats, but he's not even playing the whole game. He playing 3 quarters of the game. That is crazy.
Play a handful of minutes in the fourth in the game before that one, and then sat the entire fourth in the game before that.
And they
in
still
fact,
winning
Shai
the
Gilgeous-Alexander, the reigning MVP, didn't play a single fourth quarter minute in 10 of the Thunder's last 15 games. OKC's so dominant this season that they are eviscerating teams without the assistance of their MVP favorite to close out games. And this has been the story of the Thunder so far in the early NBA season. A 16-1 record through their first 17 games. Half of those games ending in a blowout. Their one loss of the season proudly coming at the hands of my Blazers.
Y'all think they can beat the Bulls or the Warriors? If they beat the Bulls, they're tied. Well, they'll go second. Wait, when they had the title boys, I forget how the record go. I just know the Warriors hold the most wins in the season. Going at this trajectory, they could end up winning.
But coming off of what
More than
proved
that.
to be one of the most dominant seasons in NBA history, the Thunder have doubled back and found ways to get even better, with a gap on the rest of the league about as big as any team has ever had. Through their first 17 games, OKC has beaten their opponents by an average of 16.5 points per game. A margin of victory that
Man,
not
rookie
only leads
mode,
the
bro.
NBA this season,
Tell you.
it is the largest margin of victory through 17 games in the history of the NBA. It's better than Jordan's Bulls, better than the 73-win Warriors, better than they were last season. The way they achieved this mind-boggling margin, just as impressive as the margin itself. Because a lot of these games are effectively over by the end of the third quarter. Against the Hornets,
Imagine if they kept Shea in the whole game. You know how much they'll win by? But I guess it's good to preserve his energy, him being a star and all.
by 17
That's
going
just
into the
crazy,
fourth,
bro.
up by 36 against the Lakers going into the fourth. They had a 35-point lead against the Warriors after 3, 22-point lead on the Jazz, up 26 on the Pelicans after 3, up 18 on the Mavericks, up 19 on the Hawks. In fact, the largest season average point differential in NBA history was set last season by none other than the Thunder, beating teams by an average of 12.8 points per game. So far this season, the Thunder's average point differential is over 14 points after just 3 quarters.
But you know why they work so good? They work so good because everybody has a role and they know the role. Typically, teams fall apart because people feel like they should have this role or they should be doing that. Instead of falling in line and getting in where you fit in, the Thunder, they work like a well-oiled machine.
They are beating teams
saying,
by a
bro.
record-setting margin before the fourth quarter even begins. They're not stat padding, they're not running up the score, they're actually taking their foot off the gas almost every night. And this is one of many reasons why their hot start to the season has been so convincing. It's not just that they're winning, it's how early and decisively they're winning. The foundation of their extraordinary start, not just in the talent of their roster, but the depth of talent on their roster. Right now, even with their second option and all-star Jalen Williams sidelined, the Thunder have about 9 players who are legitimate starting caliber guys, essentially 2 starting units on the same team. While most teams may fall into a slump or struggle to keep their momentum when faced with injuries, the Thunder have a factory line of quality players who can fill the gaps at any moment's notice. But their 16-1 record, as good as it is, doesn't quite capture just how big the disparity is between them and their opponents. There's a handful of teams around the league right now that are exceeding expectations as title contenders. The Spurs, Lakers, Rockets, Nuggets, and Pistons. Now, all of these contending teams have good records, but not all wins are built the same. Despite having the same record, the Celtics have outscored their opponents by far more than the Bucks have. The Lakers have the 4th best record in the NBA, but only the 14th best point differential. But it is the Rockets and the Nuggets who have outplayed their opponents more than any other team in the league this season. The Rockets with a point differential of plus 146 and the Nuggets with a plus 165. But of course, there's the OKC Thunder, who have outscored their opponents by a record-breaking 277 points this season.
Man, they hooping, bro. Good coaching, good front office. You know what I'm saying? Good starter, good bench. How could you lose? This is crazy.
Mile ahead of the next best
We
team
win this in
and the
history
whole
right now,
entire
honestly.
league. The Thunder are not just winning games. They are running teams off the court. Last season, OKC won 68 games. They beat teams by a larger margin than any team ever has before. They won a championship, and they came back the next season measurably better at just about every facet of the game. They're deeper, they're smarter, they're less reliant on free throws, and they've built on their chemistry that was established last season. But there's one area in particular that give the Thunder a near insurmountable lead on every other team in the league: their defense. The Thunder are suffocating teams with their size, their depth, and their athleticism.
They do say defense wins championships. Hey, and the Thunder are a living and breathing example of that. They do got some great defense, bro.
Rotation is like a revolving door of active, tough, smart defenders. Teams are never given an opportunity to get on a run or capitalize on bad matchups. When one all-NBA caliber defender goes to the bench, another one pops up in his place. According to estimated defensive plus minus, the Thunder have 5 of the top 15 defenders in the entire league.
Dang. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna get an ad block when I get
Ready to
home,
lose
so don't worry
weight?
about it.
Think Wegovy.
How y'all
With
doing,
Wegovy,
y'all?
I've lost
5, and they have 7 players sitting in the top 20.
7?
And this isn't even factoring in Jalen Williams, their all-NBA defensive star who has yet to suit up this season. If stopping the Thunder from scoring wasn't hard enough, scoring enough points to even compete with them has become the
And
hardest
then
thing.
the scariest part about this team is being that they're young, which means they're going to have a lot of time to roll over the NBA. Is this going to be the new team that's going to be in the finals back to back to back to back? Who knows? They might be the new Warriors. They probably is better than the Warriors, just considering that they can hold defense.
Basketball.
But I
There's
don't know,
nowhere to
bro.
hide. Every lineup is switchable, they're active, they're disciplined, they know their roles. This is not a young team winning on talent and pace and scoring. This is a young team that
Good block.
defends like a gritty veteran contender with a defensive profile that has become a recipe for walking its way through the regular season. And this is the part that should really worry the rest of the league. Hot shooting can come and go. Offensive explosions can be random. But a defense this good for this long is not a fluke. It's a system. When the Thunder aren't hitting their shots, they'll just hold you to 42.5 and make sure you aren't either. When they are hitting their shots, well, then you get scores like this. And it's not.
Oh my goodness, that's wild. 38-70 at the half. Man, you know coach was on their ass, boy.
It's 1 or 2 elite stoppers rising the tides for the rest of the team. Last season, the Thunder put up defensive numbers that made them one of the greatest defensive units of the modern NBA. In fact, they were so good that despite their 2 best defenders, Alex Caruso and Chet Holmgren, missing out on all defensive teams because of the minimum game requirement, the Thunder still had 2 players make all defensive teams. This team legitimately has at least 4 all-NBA
That's
caliber
actually
defenders.
crazy.
But there's one metric that pretty much sums up the historic nature of what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing on defense right now. Relative defensive rating. How many points do the Thunder give up compared to the league average? It's a metric we can use for comparing defenses across completely different eras without getting lost in pace, rules, and style of play. And the Thunder aren't just good. They are putting together the single best defensive season in NBA history. League average defense this year sits at about 115.5 points allowed per 100 possessions. OKC is at 104.1. That's a relative defensive rating of minus 11.4. By far, the best defense in modern NBA history. For some context, the 2004 Pistons, who are widely regarded as the greatest defensive team the league has ever seen, had a relative defensive rating of minus 7.5. Duncan Spurs, at their best, hovered around minus 7 to minus 8. The 90s Knicks teams that practically tackled anyone that came near the paint were in that same neighborhood. What the Thunder are doing right now is beyond all of them. In an era designed to make defense harder than it's ever been, OKC is lapping the best defenses of all time. Now, all of this stuff,
They got 7 players on the defensive all team. Do you know how impressive that is? That's probably not over half, just about half your roster. Hey man, they did some
defense,
good
the
job
scoring, the
recruiting.
depth,
I
it's
tell
all
you
great
that, bro.
indication that this Thunder team is on a crash course with history. However, we are looking at a 16-game sample size. Not quite enough games to assume how this team will fare over the course of an entire season. If that were the case, then a 15-1 record or a 93.8% win rate has them on pace for about 77 wins this season. Of course, we know that's not how this works. Injuries can happen, bad streaks happen, schedules get tougher. But there is a metric by Cleaning the Glass called expected wins that attempts to factor all of this in and project how many games a team will win over the course of a season, not based on how many games they've won, but based on the quality of the team itself. When Golden State went on their historic 24-0 start to the season in 2015, this metric was spot on when it projected the Warriors would end the season with about 73 wins, the highest projected total for any team over the last 2 decades. The projected win total for the OKC Thunder this season? About 74 wins. Statistically on pace for the most
74 wins.
dominant regular season of all time.
Hey man, that'll be overly crazy if that does happen. It's not out of the realm of impossibility, just because of the simple fact that they are at 1 loss right now, and they got great defense, splendid offense. What can't the Warriors, not the Warriors, what can't the Thunder do? If y'all figure out something that they can't do, let me know down in the comments below. And I'm going to catch you niggas in the next one. Yes, sir.